All right, everyone. Hello. Let's see, this fine Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. Live, we made it on time. I'm Lonnie,
I'm Mark.
and we are Untitled Nerd Network. This is going to be an audio-only stream, so just pretend you're listening to the radio, and everything will be just fine.
Besides, we have the faces for radio.
Yes, that's exactly why we can't handle both of you, or both of us, at the same time. So basically what we've got today is we are hanging out via phone all the way from Dallas, Texas. Our good friend Steve Borock, who has not been on the channel in about 2 years now. And I think the last time we talked to him, you were here with me,
Yeah,
right?
every time we've interviewed him, it's me and you.
So, well, not every time. We did some before
Oh.
the age of Mark.
Before the age of Mark.
Anyway, welcome to the show, Steve. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Lonnie. Hey, Mark. It's
Hello.
great to be here. Thanks for having me
Hey.
on.
Oh man, anytime. It has been just really quick. I'm going to give a quick heads up to everybody in the chat. I'm not going to be able to acknowledge each person who comes in, says hey, whatever. But if you have like a specific question for Steve that you'd like answered, we are going to pick a few of those questions to ask. As long as it adds to the interview. But yeah, feel free to hop in, ask some questions and stuff. Don't get mad if you get ignored because this is going to be a pretty in-depth interview and we've got an hour. So, really quick, I want to tell this story. I tell it every time.
Okay.
That we talked to Steve, and I don't know if you remember. You remember way back when, Steve, when we first met, and then we did a phone interview, your first ever phone interview for Untitled Nerd Network, and it was me and a couple other guys who are no longer with the channel, and I had to use the restroom, and so I turned my mic off, and I got up and I walked over to the restroom, and I'm standing there taking a leak. And come to find out, it goes out over the air that the mute button did not work.
Yeah.
And afterwards, I was like, oh my God, I'm sorry, Steve. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to do that. And apparently Steve didn't even hear it.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, don't worry about it. I didn't even know what was going on. But the other two guys that were with me, they heard it and openly acknowledged it on the channel. And I'm just like,
Do you really think I would let you live that down?
no. But I'll go ahead and tell you, just for your peace of mind, Steve, I went to the restroom before the interviews.
No, that's good. That's good.
So, I really quick, I want to give you an opportunity to talk about some stuff that's going on. I mean, a lot has happened in the last 2 years.
Oh, yeah, quite a bit. I mean, since we spoke, we got bought by Beckett Media, the card company, and they're fantastic. We've been working hand in hand with them, and business is just booming. I mean, it's Sunday. I was at the office all morning today, before the interview. We're swamped. Came out with a new holder. Everybody's loving it. It's really a great holder. We have our census running now, so people are really happy with the census. They can look up what books have been graded and what the highest grades are and what the lowest grades are or what your grade is, ranking.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
Been tweaking the website quite a bit. Got a really good special going on this month. It's New Year's special. New Year's savings is actually the code word, New Year's savings. And if you send in 5 or more books, you get 15% off. And we've been running specials here and there that people really like, whether it's half off Fast Pass or, money off the Verified Signature Program, which another program has taken off like crazy since we spoke. And we're getting so many signatures that need to be verified that's never been witnessed. And the program's taken off like crazy. And we've changed it from a red label to a yellow label as well. People seem to like the yellow label for signatures better, so we switched over, listening to our customers and our clients.
Yeah, when we first talked, the very first time we talked was right after Wizard World Chicago in 2014, and you had literally just started the verified signature program. I think you had announced it that weekend or something like that.
Oh, maybe.
So yeah, that's been going on now for 6 years. Has anything changed in that system? Like, are things done a little bit differently now? Have y'all added, or like, are there names that you can verify now that you weren't able to at the onset of the program?
No, actually, we're it's basically pretty simple. You have some of the best handwriting experts in the world looking at this stuff, and see a lot of fake Jack Kirby's, a lot of fake Stanleys, just with some fake auto binders, which you wouldn't think people would fake, but where there's money to be made, people do it.
Oh, I hated it because, well, like at the beginning, have we talked since Stan Lee passed away? I don't think we
I
have.
think the last time we talked to him was
not online.
Yeah, the last
Not
time we talked to
online.
him was
Okay.
right after the merger with Beckett.
Okay, so
Right
it's
as
been
that
a
was
minute.
going
I actually read a report, and I don't know if you could confirm this or not, but in Stan, like, we all love Stan Lee. He's the hero
Oh,
to
yeah,
the comic
of
community. I've heard that over maybe the last 6 months that he was alive and doing signings, that his handwriting had gotten bad enough to where his signature couldn't be verified. Is there any truth to
Yeah,
that?
I mean, it really is terrible. I mean, they were pushing him, especially at the end. It was really sad. Like, he was tired. You could tell he was falling asleep at times signing,
Oh,
and they just
wow.
kept pushing him. It's a shame. He's such a nice guy, especially, with the charity work he did for us, the Hero Initiative and stuff, and what joy he's brought us to life that, just seeing him being treated by his handlers not so well was a real shame. And his signature, yeah, had gotten so bad that it's hard to verify. It's sometimes it's just a scribble.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I absolutely hate to hear that because he was a
Yeah,
legend.
it's a shame.
A lot of us wouldn't be here doing this today. We wouldn't be doing this interview if not for Stan Lee. I would be willing to wager.
No, not for Stan and Jack. Definitely not. Those two guys are like Lennon and McCartney of comics.
Oh yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
So I had a question just kind of based on something you said in there. You said you've been getting a lot of feedback from your customers and everything, and you've made changes based on the feedback that your customers have given you. How important is it for you to get criticism from your customers so that you can make
Oh, it's
changes?
huge. It's the way to move your company forward. If 80% or 70% of your clients are asking for the same thing, usually it's a good move to do it. If 10 or 20% of people are asking us to do something and it's going to cost us a lot of money to change, then of course we probably wouldn't. It's, everything takes time, especially, the IT, and we have so many projects in the works that unless it's something that people are clamoring for, we're really going to have to, wait on that. But yeah, when people are like 70 or 80% of the people are asking for something, we really want to listen to our people. I mean, we're hobbyists and we're selling our product to hobbyists, and they have to be happy with it at the end of the day. Not that the grading should change. The grading should stay consistent and as active as possible. But we like making changes otherwise.
Yeah, speaking of changes, you were just talking about how the new case is really taking off. Can you tell us the difference between the case or cases that you have used in the past and what the improvements are on the current one?
Well, the cases had clips, if you remember correctly, at the top and the bottom that you'd have to take off to get in. And now it's completely sealed all around, and it's smoother. The case is smoother, and it's more durable, and it's still crystal clear, so you can show off the books correctly. We changed the label a little bit, so it's a little more bold. It just looks really nice. Like I said, if we had more time before this interview, we didn't know about it till this week, right? I would have sent you a new case, and you could have checked it out yourselves and let your audience know about it. But it's really phenomenal. I'm getting incredible feedback from it.
I think that
So
would
I'm
be
really quite happy.
that'd be something that we could do next time. Like we'll do some video next time, and we'll kind of like take
Sure.
some pictures and show some video and stuff. I mean, it's been 2 years. I feel like we need to make up for lost time because it's been so long since we've talked to you. And maybe we'll be able to do one, before the end of the year. But
Sure.
how has the elephant in the room, COVID-19, how has the pandemic of 2020 that's still going on right now, how has it affected business at CBCS at all? Or
Well, it affected business because we shut down for 2 weeks, which is really bad.
okay,
But we had to make sure that people were safe and that the place was cleaned and everything. And but I'll tell you, during this COVID time, the market is rocking. I mean, people are stuck at home with nothing to do, so they're sending in books to be certified or selling books on eBay, buying books on eBay, buying books out of, Heritage or Comic Link, the major auction houses. It's been incredible. Like I said, I've been working. I didn't just work today. I worked yesterday too. I've been working almost every weekend and nights. It's been taking off like crazy, and we're really happy.
awesome.
So, okay, that here's a follow-up question for that. So, let's say that one of our listeners sitting here today is contemplating sending something into you, but they're a little bit concerned, because of the COVID. What steps are you guys taking as far as like sanitation and everything for things that are being sent into you guys?
Oh, well, we're constantly cleaning the offices nonstop. I mean, that's, it has to be done. And for packages, they get sprayed down before they, before they get opened. But there really isn't any COVID transfer from paper, right, that's been sitting in a box for a while,
Right.
to us. So we're not worried about that. We were just worried about the people who work for us and, where they're going, what they're doing outside of the office.
And not to mention,
But everybody wears masks. Everybody takes safety precautions. We have Perel at our desks, things like that.
And if I remember correctly from one of our earlier interviews, everybody wears gloves when they're grading a book anyway, correct?
No.
Oh, okay.
Only when there's books that need to have gloves worn.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's too hard to count the pages. You need your fingers to be able to feel the restoration, things like that.
Fair
So if you
enough.
had a glove on, you wouldn't be able to tell that there was glue on the spine or something like that without feeling it.
Yeah,
That
can.
was a bad recollection on my part. I'm
I
sorry.
was gonna say I can relate to that because working in retail, it is almost impossible to count money with gloves on.
Exactly. Right.
And-
So you don't want to count pages with gloves on and nail a page and put a small tear in it or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. The and you kind of have your. I probably should have asked you this beforehand, but you have your finger on the pulse of the industry as a whole. I'm assuming, right? So
I try.
yeah, we were talking before we went on air about how, and also just in case, like the layman is listening to this interview and you're not 100% sure what we're talking about. CBCS is one of the grading companies that basically you send a comic book into them. They look at it, determine its condition, assign a grade based on that condition, seal it up in a capsule like a case with the grade and all the info and everything on it. They send it back to you, and it is like a third-party guarantee of the comic book's condition. That way you're not, if you're buying a comic book on eBay or at a shop, you're not just taking the owner's word for it. You have a third-party guarantee of the condition. And so,
Right. It's
yeah.
like a good housekeeping seal of approval. Or if you're going to go buy a diamond, you would get that appraised. If you're going to go buy a house, you get that appraised. If you're going to get an expensive comic, you want to make sure that there's no restoration, and you want to make sure the grade is right or close.
Yeah, and it just occurred to me, y'all have now, are you still doing, and I'm assuming you are, the art certifications?
Oh, sure. I mean, it's fantastic. People really like the art label because, you get these blank covers that the artist does this incredible drawing on, but he kind of, creases it a little or whatever. So why do you care if it's a 9/8 or a 8/0? It doesn't make sense because it's a piece of art. So we want the art label, so you don't care if it's a 9/2 or a 9/6 or 8/0. It's just the art, and that's what's really important about it. And original art's worth real money. What do you care if it's, about the grade of the book?
So, okay, and while we're talking about the art label, let's just kind of sort of go into, since the merger with Beckett, what other services have you added to the overall company as a whole?
I don't think we've added anything. We've just refined them.
Okay.
Like I said, we've added the census, we've added the new holder, we've added the new label. We've worked on, more better ways of receiving books into our system for you for when you're logging in. Like I said, we've been running a bunch of specials, which really people seem to like a lot.
Oh yeah,
And
saving money.
It could be yeah, but I mean, it's funny. They could, it's half off fast pass could be one of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people are really digging it. They get their books back faster, and they pay half the price of the add-on for the fast pass, and they get their books quicker. But some people don't care about getting their books quicker. I have clients that are like, "Oh, I don't care. It's in your safe. It's fine." They're just coming back to me and they're going back in my collection. I don't care how long it takes. I wish most of my clients were like that. But then you have the 10% that are like, I want my stuff yesterday. It's like Amazon Prime,
Did and I guess is that pretty much how, like, you went through the laundry list just now? Is that pretty much how business differs now from before the Beckett acquisition to now? Like, I know the move to Dallas was a kind of a big shock because I know y'all were.
Oh, it was huge.
Yeah.
That hurt, in turn times and stuff like that. But, we had to move an entire company across the country. So it's, we got through it though, and we're rocking. Like I said, I can't believe how busy we are right now. So,
oh yeah,
it's just incredible.
So what did Beckett? What specifically did they add? Like once they came together, were there any
name right away is huge, right?
Oh yeah,
just in cards and autographs. So it was a natural fit for comic books. They added, we had more help wise, shipping, things like that, because they had their own shipping department, they have their own receiving department. So it's been really good to help move things, to help streamline things, I should say. And they have a lot of great ideas, some of which we've, brought out with some of the specials we've ran. And just a great company to work for.
Absolutely, because I've heard, really, it seems like, I don't know, it's almost, I don't want to call it like a modernization, but it seems like y'all have a lot more resources at your disposal now.
Exactly. Which is fantastic.
What right now is the current, if I send a comic book in tomorrow morning, if it sends out to the mail, when can I expect to get it back graded? Just a basic graded book?
It's taking about 8 weeks right now, from when we receive the book to when we ship it out. Except the higher tiers, of course. I mean, there's tiers that are 2-day, there's tiers that are 4-day, but when we're talking about the regular modern tier or the regular vintage tier, it's about 8 weeks. Which isn't bad. I mean, if you remember when we started my competition, we were like a year behind at one point.
Yeah. I remember that. But I mean, it was, I want to bring up, when we first time I ever met you in person, And this was kind of neat because it was at Wizard World, and I think this book had just been like publicized. You all had the Spider-Man book, the Obama variant that was autographed.
Oh, right. Yeah, autographed by President Obama. Sure.
Yeah. Has there been anything of note, like in a similar fashion, like, you know?
We got a second one. We got a second one in.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like by Obama?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
We got a second one in, which is fantastic. And, you know, I mean, we get the Frazetta signatures, and we get, you know, the Jack Kirby's. I mean, these are fantastic signatures to have on your book. You know, Alex Schomburg. I mean, it's incredible. You know, and it's nice that people can get it verified and people know it's real, because there's so many fakes out there. If you look at sports, like, what is it? 90% of the autographs are fake or something ridiculous. We want to be, you know, we want to make sure that they're not fake. We want to make sure that, you know, everything runs through and runs as smoothly as possible.
Oh, so you're saying, like, I don't know if you keep track of the numbers on this, but in all of the comic books that you get for signature verification, do you have like a rough percentage of what gets tossed back and what is accepted?
You know, I don't know. I don't deal with the autographs myself. You know, I just grade the book when it gets to me. But I would say that 50% of Jack Kirby's and Stan Lee's get thrown out.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
Holy
there's just
crap.
that many fakes. Yeah. It's crazy.
Wow.
The only comic book I've ever had autographed was by Tom Wynn. And I know it's him because he was standing right in front of me at the convention that I was working for. We invited him in as a guest. So, but it's like I would hate to send in a book that I'd bought offline and have like any autograph be like sent back to me and say, hey, you know, we're sorry to tell you this is not an authentic autograph. That would suck.
Yeah, we don't really say it's not authentic. We say it's unverifiable.
Oh, okay.
Because there's like probably Jack Kirby and Stan Lee that we failed that are real, but they might have coughed in the middle of doing it, or somebody might have started talking to them and they lifted their pen.
Right.
So these handwriting experts notice these lifts and stuff like that. So maybe it's a real signature, but it can't be verified 100%.
So pretty much any celebrity, like musician, comic book artist,
Oh yeah,
sports
sure.
star, anybody, just about anybody of note, you're saying that they can autograph a comic book, send it in, and it could be verified?
Yep, absolutely. BAS works with, you know, all celebrities, so it's fantastic.
It kind of makes me wonder how,
It
like,
actually-
how low down the totem pole do you get before they quit being a celebrity?
Well,
Like,
well, okay. So here's an example. Have you gotten any of the Supermans that had Neil deGrasse Tyson in it autographed by Neil?
I'm sorry, I missed what you were saying.
There, I don't know if it was Adventures of Superman, but there was a Superman book that had Neil deGrasse Tyson in it. Like, they actually put him in the comic book talking about Krypton and where Krypton was and all that. Have you gotten any of those signed by him?
Not that I know of. That would be cool.
That would be kind of neat. Although I don't know. I mean, he demoted Pluto. I'm kind of upset with him.
oh, come on,
exactly.
Jerry.
We did get a Bob Kane signed Batman 1 in. That was really cool.
Oh my
Ooh.
God. That had to be just like, is there anything that comes in that you and your fellow graders just kind of like collectively geek out and stand over the desk and drool over without actually getting the drool on the comic?
Yeah, I mean, you know, at times we get, you know, a really cool book in high grade that we never see, and, you know, the graders will be like, did you see the, you know, Suspense 3? I'll be like, yeah, it was awesome. You know, I can't believe it's 9.0. It's just so high grade, you know, that kind of thing. But as Lonnie and I were speaking about beforehand, you know, I go on Instagram a lot when I'm grading. If I come across a book that I think people want to see, especially in high grade, I take a picture of it and put it on Instagram and put it on Facebook, and just like cool books that hit my grading desk.
Oh, yeah, you have all kinds of like golden age treasures. I think you posted you posted like an old, I feel like it was Captain America.
Maybe I post a lot of books. I post so many.
And a lot of what you post. See, I consider myself a comic fan, but I have nowhere near the historical expertise or knowledge that somebody like you do. I mean, you're like you're an authority. You are what I consider, Steve, an authority on comic book knowledge for obvious reasons. You've been in it for a while.
Well, I've seen. Yeah, I've been doing it a couple of days, and I've seen a few books.
A lot of people don't know that you have not only. Yes, that's it. A lot of people. He just showed me a picture of the personalized Obama signature.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, no politics involved. It's just cool that there was a sitting president that signed a comic book.
And I love that when you posted it to Instagram, you were like, "I love my gig. This just hit my desk. No politics, please." Because I mean, there's no politics involved in that. It's just
cool.
This person, no matter whether you like him or not, took time to sign this for a fan. So,
exactly. And somebody has a book that they want. That's signed by somebody who's impossible to get a signature to. But the way we got it was one of my best friends and comic dealer, Steve Borock, grew up with Senator John Tester in Missoula, Montana. And Senator John Tester was the one who got Obama to sign the book for.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I guess
Senator John Tester's a real nice guy. I got to have dinner with him and stuff and meet him. Very nice.
I guess it helps to know people.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't believe it. I was having dinner with Senator John Tester, and I kept calling him Senator. He's like, "No, call me John." And I was like, "I'll call you Senator."
That's okay. Yeah. That's like there's a local representative here that I talk to, and every time I talk to him, I'm like, "Representative." He's like, "No, call me Mike," and I'm like, "No, I'm good."
Exactly.
Exactly,
man. They deserve the title that they've earned.
Did you has CBCS started yet doing a magazine?
No, actually, that looks like it'd be in Q2 of this year. We've been working on engineering it, getting it for molding. So,
fantastic though! But it's on the horizon.
Yeah, definitely. But,
okay.
It's not happening. It's not happening yesterday or tomorrow.
Oh, the thing that I like, obviously I'm asking questions to get to a certain point. Had like my favorite band of all time is Crash Test Dummies. I'm not sure if you listened to them.
I know them, sure.
Yeah, back in the 90s.
Actually saw them in concert once, many years ago.
Oh, I was actually fortunate enough to sit down backstage with the lead singer about a year ago, right before COVID happened. Like my hero. And I sat down and they had the song, Superman song.
Mm-hmm.
And they, back in the early 90s, DC put out a magazine that was like an in-universe DC magazine. Like, you had picked it up off of the newsstand in Metropolis. And it was like the death of Superman. And it had like interviews with real world celebrities and things like that, giving their thoughts on the passing of Superman. And there was actually a quote in there by Brad Roberts, because he was he wrote Superman's song, and he had a quote in there, and I got him to autograph that magazine.
Oh, wow.
And so now I've got it in good condition. I've got it in a Borden bag, and I'm just waiting on you guys to start doing magazines.
Well, soon enough. Soon enough. You still got it in your collection. It ain't going anywhere.
Okay. Yeah. I was just making sure that it was going to happen eventually. I wasn't.
Eventually it's going to happen. You'll see.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
So I'm going to switch gears on you here just a little bit, because like I'm scrolling through your Instagram as we're talking. What was it like meeting Gal Gadot?
Oh, that was fantastic, man. That was she was very sweet. And because I'm so short, when she took a picture with me, she leaned over so I wouldn't look as short. It
You
was
still
really
look
sweet.
short in this picture compared to
Oh
her.
yeah. She's like 6'3".
Wow, I didn't know
She's
she was.
wearing heels.
Oh yeah, she's huge. Like I've watched interviews with her. She's tall.
Yeah, she's taller than I am.
But
Yeah, but she was so sweet and very nice. It was really nice. I have the picture still up at my desk at work, and my wife doesn't mind. She's very cool about it.
So okay, that kind of sort of reminds me of a side story. I don't know if are you a Star Trek fan at all?
Sure.
So Will Wheaton, if you ever get the chance to read his book, he basically took a whole bunch of his blog posts and turned it into a book. And one of them was talking about how he used to have this huge crush on Mariana Sirtis. And
Who is that? Let's clarify.
Who is Counselor Troy.
Okay.
And his wife, Anne, knows about his crush, right? And he said that we got together for a reunion one year, and Mariana came up and hugged him and started walking towards the boat. And his wife leaned over and whispered in his ear and said, "You don't have to stare at her ass that hard."
Oh Lord.
So, is there anybody
Oh,
else?
well.
Is there anybody else that you've met that stood out the past couple of years?
Jason Momoa was really nice.
That had to
really
be fun.
funny.
He seems like he is a really cool person. He would just be a really cool person to meet and hang out with.
Yeah. And, I get to hang out quite a bit with different people at different shows. It's been, a long time, but like the last time I went to Little Giant, I was having great conversations with Howard Chaykin, Al Milgram, Mike Royer, Jim Steranko. Neil Adams. I was in fanboy heaven.
I bet.
My job is fantastic. I get to, meet, my heroes, people who, make, my life, so much more fun by what they do for a living. That's why I work very hard for the Hero Initiative. I want to give back to the people who've given us so much pleasure that don't have money right now.
And speaking of that, let's go ahead and segue into that. Tell us what the Hero Initiative is and what's your latest outreach right now.
Right. Well, basically, the Hero Initiative is a nonprofit organization, and it's really a nonprofit organization. We have 2 employees, and our office is the coffee shop around the corner. So all the money actually goes to the people that's supposed to go to, which is one of the things I'm really, when I look into charities, I check out if the salaries are ridiculous, and the money's not going to where it's supposed to. With the Hero Initiative, the money goes to where it's supposed to, helping creators in need. So a lot of these creators that, especially in, the 50s and 60s and early 70s, didn't get paid for their work, and they couldn't sell the artwork for what new artists sell it for. And they sold their artwork or gave it away, or Marvel and DC gave their artwork away, and they don't have any money anymore.
Right.
Now we need to help them, with medicine, with housing, with healthcare. It's very important, and these are the people giving us so much enjoyment that even if everybody in the hobby just, went to the Hero Initiative website, donated $1, that's a lot of money if you think about how many people collect comic books and really care about our hobby. I don't want to give out any names of people we've been helping right now. People keep it to themselves. But like I said, we're dealing with a lot of people that need housing and medical and food and things like that. Very important. And people like Roy Thomas and Howard Chaykin and George Perez and all these great people are on the board of directors. I'm on the board of directors as well, so I'm in fanboy heaven. I get to work with all these fantastic people.
I think I would faint if I met George Perez.
He's the nicest guy in the world. You wouldn't faint at all. He'd just be having a great time. He's just a big teddy bear.
I've heard
that.
Real
Nice guy.
Yeah, I've definitely
really nice.
I've heard he's very, very approachable.
I haven't had I haven't had the pleasure of meeting a lot of people in the comic book industry, but I have met two of my favorite book authors, and that would be Timothy Zahn and Jim Butcher.
Nice.
Who both were just amazing to talk to. So it's nice to get to meet people who you kind of sort of they're kind of your heroes, and just realize that they're not
cool?
pricks.
Like, yeah, they're like that. They're cool people. I remember that we did this thing for the Hero Initiative in San Diego one year at the show, and it was Dave Gibbons, and you paid to go into a boat and talk with Dave Gibbons, have drinks and appetizers, and I was the chaperone to make sure everything went well for the Hero Initiative.
Right.
With Dave. And Dave mentioned that he was a mod during the days of the Mods and the Rockers in England.
Oh, wow.
And so he and I ended up spending about 45 minutes to talk about Mods and Rockers. I said, Quadrophenios were my favorite movies. How real was it? And he was really funny. He said in his British accent, he's like, well, I thought the movie was pretty good. I just didn't like the fact that it was written by a guy on heroin about a guy on speed. But he was so happy not to be talking about Watchmen, I think, that it was great that we had that 45-minute conversation about the Mods and the Rockers.
Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and tell you, if I would have met him, we would have been talking for 45 minutes about Watchmen. Because,
exactly.
I just got the freaking Ultimate Cut box set the other day, and I'm just like,
Nice.
So, I kind of like doing that, too. Like, I got to meet Levar Burton, right? And, just talking to them about stuff that they don't expect you to talk about. Got to meet him at Dragon Con one year. And, of course, everybody was asking him Star Trek questions. Basically, the way he was doing it is when you paid to get your autograph, he would also answer one question. Like, you could ask him one question. And, of course, everybody's asking him Star Trek questions. Well, I had heard a rumor that anytime he did a public appearance, he always wore long sleeves because when he was filming Roots, the chains that he wore as Kunta Kinte scarred his wrists. And so I was gonna ask him if that was true. Well, as I'm getting closer and closer to the head of the line, he's wearing a wife beater. Because it's Atlanta, it's hot, so he's wearing his wife beater, and I get up there and he's like, okay, hi, what's your name? And I'm like, Mark, and he's like, well, Mark, what's your question? And I was like, I was going to ask you something, but now I know it's not true. And he goes, well, go ahead and ask it anyway. And I told him, and he held out both of his hands, and he flipped his wrist over. He goes, no, but that's a new one. I have never heard that one. Come here, I'll let you get
Wow.
So he actually took a photo with me. So not only do I have his autograph, but I actually have a photo of me and him standing side by side, a little 5x7 photo.
I'd like to see that at some point. I've never seen it as much as
it's at the house. It's in my it's stored currently inside of my Enterprise D deck plans with his autograph picture.
I'll tell you, I have a funny Steve story.
Oh, yay, Steve stories.
Yes, I have a Steve story, and you'll probably remember what I'm talking about, Steve, once I get started. I always harken back to Wizard World Chicago 2014. That was the weekend I met Stan Lee, and that was a pretty solid. It was also the weekend that I met Steve for the first time in person.
Mm-hmm.
And Steve, there was a steakhouse right across from the convention center that you ate at.
Gibson's.
Yes,
Yeah.
Gibson's. And so,
Love that place.
Yep. And Steve tells me, he's like, hey, y'all, the girlfriend I had at the time, he's like, y'all ought to, come up here and have dinner with us on Saturday night. And so I asked her, and she was like, oh, I don't want to go out to a steakhouse and get dressed up and, da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, all right. So come to find out after the fact, the next day, like Sunday afternoon, Steve's like, oh, we missed you there. We had this person and this person, and it was like the who's who of comic book royalty was at this dinner table.
And you missed it.
And I was like, no!
See, that's where you and I are different, because I would have told the girlfriend, all right, fine, you stay here, I'm going to dinner. I mean, the man invited me to dinner, I'm going to dinner with him. I wouldn't have been expecting anything other than to be sitting there with Steve, but
yeah.
I would have loved to have had dinner with Steve and just sit and talk with him, let alone meet all those people that
Well,
Okay, fine. He invited us. You don't have to get dressed up. You can say watch TV. I'm going.
I had a little less of a backbone 6 years ago.
Yeah, I think that was the year that Neil Adams showed up and Joe Jusko and some other people.
Okay, Steve,
Yeah,
you could stop.
So, I know that every time we talk, you constantly go into the fact that you don't read individual issues because it kind of would taint your view that you're big on graphic novels on the trades.
Yeah, like right now I'm reading Doomsday Clock.
Okay, and so have you finished it? Because I really would like your opinion.
No,
okay.
I'm just starting it.
I haven't
far,
finished
so
it
good,
either.
But,
I mean, the reason you haven't finished it is because it took 2 years to finish writing the damn thing. Sorry.
Exactly. Well, but I only got it like a month ago, so.
Well, then there you go. So
with the holidays, I've been busy with work and with family, so.
Right.
It's been crazy.
So, is there any graphic that you've read over the past couple of years that kind of sort of stands out as like just?
Yeah, what I'm reading is Black Hammer, which is really fantastic. I mean, Dark Horse is putting out a great book. I don't know if you all have read it.
I have not.
It's really cool, and there's a trade paperback I just got in, Black Hammer Justice League, that looks really crazy. But it's a lot of fun. And then what else have I been reading? Kick-Ass, the New Girl. It's been fun. Old Man Hawkeye.
I heard good things about Old Man Hawkeye. I've been reading, if you get a chance to pick it up, and I don't know if you were ever, I don't know if you were a Power Rangers fan or not. I was kind of right there in the middle, but
not my generation, yeah.
Boom's Power Rangers is a really good story, and the graphics for the Shattered Grid arc are pretty epic.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because and they even got Jason David Frank to do a live action commercial for the arc. So,
oh wow,
yeah, it's
interesting.
Yeah, basically it's this. It's almost like a Power Rangers mirror universe story kind of a thing. And I won't ruin it any more than that, but I highly recommend picking up.
I will. I'll check it out. Thanks.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
I've noticed that a lot of comics, because if you remember, like back in the 90s, especially like Power Rangers, any kind of like direct from like if a comic book was based like licensed off of a TV show, 99% of the time it was almost like bottom of the barrel quality. But it seems like now they have put so much more effort into things. Like Power Rangers, yeah. I remember a lot of times even like the Star Wars books way back when weren't, they were okay to read, but the quality just wasn't there a lot of times. And I've noticed like, now they're putting so much more time, money, and effort.
That's because they have the mouse paying for it.
That's a good point.
That's not just that, but I mean, they're using comic books to get springboards for movies and TV.
Yeah.
So the better the writing, the better chance to get picked up.
So okay, let's talk about we've kind of talked about the business a little bit. Let's talk some more about Steve just as a person. First off, how's the family?
Thank you very much. Family's doing great. My daughter and grandkids are in Florida doing well, and Pam and I are here in Texas doing great. And my mom just had her birthday yesterday.
Oh,
turned 83.
Happy belated birthday.
That was a nice day for all of us. And I couldn't spend it with her, of course. She's in New York right now, and with the COVID, I'm not traveling. But
hopefully she's safe up there, because that's been kind of ugly as far as COVID's been going.
Yeah, she's upstate New York in the middle of nowhere. So
okay.
Oh, yeah.
In good shape, which is nice.
Is she anywhere near Bath, New York?
She's about 40 minutes out of Albany.
Okay. There's a place that's on the western side of New York called Bath, New York, where I got to see the geriatric Hells Angels.
That's weird.
We had gone up there to pick up a friend of mine's son, and we're loading the van, and off in the distance I hear me, and I turn around and look, and there's these 6 old men, and by old I mean like 70s, 80s, leather jackets on motor scooters in V formation going down the road.
Wow.
I strive for that level of Kick-Ass when I'm 80.
I was just like, what?
Right?
Yeah.
Well, and what have you seen any good movies lately? Anything that just jumped out at you?
Nothing that I liked, especially the new Wonder Woman. I was not impressed.
Oh,
Haven't seen it yet. Yeah.
I have issues. I have so many issues, and what's funny, it's the same issue that a lot of people have been bringing up. And Lonnie hasn't seen it, so we won't spoil it for him. But I'll message you later and see if you and I are on the same page. Cause,
sounds good. Yeah, I was really excited about it. It was Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah, it looked really great, and don't get me wrong, the action sequences and everything I thought were good, but there was just a lot of the story. Like, the main thing that I have a problem with, and tell me if you agree with this.
Tread lightly, Mark. Don't be spoiling
Does it feel like that Max Lord was written for Nathan Fillion, and that Pascal was just doing his best Nathan Fillion impersonation to you?
Yeah, yeah, I could see that.
Because, like, through that whole thing, all I could picture was Nathan Fillion as Hermes from the second Percy Jackson movie.
I have to get.
Funny.
I got to get Steve's opinion on this, and we've not talked to him since it released. What'd you think of Avengers Zen Game, Steve?
Oh yeah,
I loved it.
So you
loved it.
You considered it, like I'm assuming we do, a great payoff to 10 years of storytelling.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was a great, really, really good. Everything tied together. It was fun. It was, you saw the Starlin in it, which was really important, I think, to it, and Engelhart's stories and stuff, and it was really great. I really, really, really loved it.
Well, one of our main things we like to ask you every time we talk to you is, we were always like, hey, the CW shows, Arrow, Supergirl, all those, how did those affect, the number of Arrow comics or the number of Supergirl comics? Well,
every time there's something announced or something's doing well,
yeah,
a huge amount of those books.
So
it's incredible. I mean, the minute the Nova Corps, were introduced into the Marvel Universe, boom, Nova #1, went hot, and we got so many. It was incredible.
So I'm assuming that, like, between, like, the year between Infinity War and Endgame, y'all probably saw a lot of Infinity Gauntlet books.
Yeah, we still see them. It's incredible. And people love that stuff. I mean, and God bless them, it's great stuff. I mean, one of my favorite comics and stories in the world is Avengers Annual 7 and Marvel 2-in-1 Annual number 2, the Starlin Captain Marvel Thanos storyline. Avengers and Spider-Man. It was fantastic.
I'm curious about one thing, and you may or may not have an answer to this, but what is the most graded single issue that CBCS has done?
Wow, there's been a bunch of things, but right now we're grading a lot of Ultimate Fallout 4s.
Oh, but I mean, like historically, like you don't have like this one issue has been graded more than any other single issue.
Well, that's on our census. You could check the census, but I don't go to the census.
Hey, that's a good way to plug the census. If you want to know the answer to that question, Lonnie,
yes,
exactly.
Because
But I do have a follow-up question. What's the significance of Fallout number 4, of Ultimate Fallout number 4?
Is that the first Morales?
Oh, that's right. Okay, yep, that would be it. Like, I've got a friend of mine who, so I'm a member of a comic book fan page, and there's this guy that's in there who is currently contemplating getting Scarlet Witch 1-4 and then 1-12 graded. And the pictures he's posted of them,
WandaVision is coming up.
Yeah.
WandaVision starts, what's today, the 10th? In 5 days?
Yeah, Friday.
Drops on Fridays. Man. And I have a friend of mine, Jenna Bush, who used to work a lot with Stan Lee. She came to Connuga once and she used to work a whole bunch with Stan Lee, and she actually has seen the first 3 episodes of it, and she is doing. Yeah, since she's in that kind of sort of industry, she got to see some basically teasers for it, and she said it's epic. Just the first 3 episodes are epic, and
wow,
she seems to have a pretty good feel on, like, her taste and my taste kind of mix a little bit, so I trust her outlook on it. But
cool.
she's
excited,
got
man.
some. Yeah, I'm really into.
Yeah,
And remember, it's all great for our hobby. Whenever we have a great TV show, a great movie, it's all good for us. Rising tides lifts all boats.
Yeah. Did you get a whole bunch of Stargirl stuff in when Stargirl kicked off?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think the answer to just about any time we ask him that is going to be yes.
Exactly. Yeah. It's so funny.
Has there been any time where a show is launched where you haven't got a hit from comic books related to that show?
No, but if the show's a flop or it doesn't get picked up after it's been announced, we see a fall off.
Do you think you're going to have a good hit on Moon Knight?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, we're seeing it already.
I'm excited for that. The only problem I have with it is, like, I'm a Moon Knight fan. Basically for me, Moon Knight is Batman if he was clinically insane. And
you kind of call Batman clinically insane a bit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but Spectre has dissociative identity disorder. I mean, I know. He's it's you flip a coin, you don't know which personality you're going to get that day. But
right.
They've tried to, they keep relaunching Moon Knight, and every time they do it, it's like they don't have a really good feel of what they want to do with it, at least in my opinion. And so I'm worried that that's what they're going to do with the TV series, that they're going to launch this TV series and they're just not going to know what to do with the character.
Oh, but Marvel.
I think they're learning from their mistakes, that they have to really listen to the comic community and the comic writers, as well as Hollywood. And I think we're getting better and better every time we go forward.
Yeah, so
there's always going to be a clunker because that's just like books or movies or TV or comic books. There's always a clunker, but
it's like every time.
I'm hoping Moon Knight's going to be good, man. I really am.
Every time they announce a new casting, Marvel, this is Marvel specifically.
Right.
Every time Marvel announces new casting, there's always the inevitable group of people who are saying it's a horrible idea. And I'm sitting there thinking, Marvel has been casting, Marvel's casted probably 200 characters over 12 years now.
Well,
they haven't been wrong yet.
You have to differentiate between early Marvel and late Marvel, because you have to remember they cast Ben Affleck as Daredevil.
No, no.
We're bad.
Marvel.
We're talking about
on that movie.
Marvel, not Fox, not Sony. We're talking Marvel Studios.
Okay, there you go. Like I said, you've got to differentiate between
we're talking like from Iron Man and the Netflix series onward.
Oh my God, their Daredevil was amazing.
But we're within about the last 5 minutes of the interview, Steve. I want to ask you the question that's been on everybody's minds, and I will say that, in my opinion, you are probably one of the top 3 hardest working people that I know, just from what I've seen personally and what I hear. And I have to ask, do you have a ballpark estimate on the average number of hours per week that you actually put in work?
Oh boy, I have no clue, because I sit there and I grade comic books, or I go to meetings or help with PR and stuff like that, and then I come home and my phone rings because I have clients that call me at night that I'm friends with. I've known certain clients for 40 years, very, very lucky.
God.
Some nights I'll talk to Chris Simons from I Like Comics, and he's, on the West Coast. So it'll be 11 o'clock my time, and I'll end up speaking with him. And we talk, it's friendship. So we talk a lot, but we end up talking business and what we can do too. So it's weird. I don't know how many hours I put in, but put in a lot, and constantly thinking about CBCS. It doesn't leave my brain ever.
So what you're saying is you can't give a definite number because it's not possible to count that high? Yeah.
I'm sure it's possible to count that high. I just
Well-
don't really think about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just go in and I do my work, and
And it sounds.
I didn't take. I had like 13 vacation days left this year that I didn't take.
Oh wow.
It
Well, I mean, it sounds like you really love what you do, and they say that if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life, and I can kind of picture it like if you get in the office and sit there and you just start taking book after book, you kind of sort of get lost in it, and then the next thing you know, 9 hours has gone by, and
no, not always. Some books are really tough to grade, and some books are really boring to grade. If you get a stack of 9/8. It's like you have to look for 9 9s and 10s, and it's tough, and and it gets boring looking at the same issue over and over again. Look, work is still work, right? I always say if work was good, the rich would have kept it for themselves. but you're right. When you love what you do, the day goes much faster, and I made so many great friends. Whether it's Bob Overstreet or like we talked about George Prez, or even Lonnie and Mark, you guys, it's great. The nice thing about this hobby is the friendships, and without that, I don't know. I mean, I'd still be reading comic books, but I don't know if I'd be so involved. The friendships are what made it. Finding other people who love what we love and talking about it and just having such a passion for it, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I love it because you were very approachable, despite the fact that you're over this comic grading company and all the stuff is going on. You're still very approachable to the point where just about anybody, if they want, they can hit you up and be like, hey, I got this issue, and you're really awesome about that. I don't.
Well, I'm a hobbyist.
Yeah.
First, I'm a hobbyist. I just happen to have a job that isn't my hobby, so I'm very lucky.
Yep. Awesome, man. Well, I guess we are just about. Do you have anything else?
I was going to just say if there was anything that you wanted. I was going to say, Steve, if there was anything that we didn't hit that you wanted to hit.
No, let's just mention again that people send in 5 or more books and they put in the promo New Year's special. They'll get 15% off 5 or more books.
And then let's also
this month.
Mention Hero Initiative again.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you all, feel like, doing a little charity for something that we've all enjoyed, please donate to the Hero Initiative or buy some swag from them.
You know what?
It's a great hobby.
We have been known to do fundraisers here at Untitled Nerd Network. I think we might be able to work out something where the next one we do, we might just get in touch with you and see what we can work out together.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. I'd love to do that. Anything I can do to help the Hero Initiative, I'm there, and anything I do to help the hobby, I'm there. So,
yeah,
I'd love to do it, and I'd love to be on with you guys again. It's always like being home, hanging out with you guys. So,
I love it. Oh, absolutely. And like I said, the reason you didn't see Steve on UNN last year was because when COVID hit, the entire year was like chaos. And from the beginning, it was right around February. I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be the year that we're going to do all kinds of interviews. And then about the time COVID hit, I didn't want to like really everything just kind of took a weird turn. And even though I was at home a lot, I didn't really have time to do interviews and stuff because, there was so much going on. And so we ended up not doing a single interview last year. I mean, it just didn't happen. And, but here we are, 2021's a new year, a lot of new opportunities. And I'm sure before the end of the year, we'll be seeing Steve here again. So
I hope so. It's always an honor to be on with you guys. Really nice.
Well, we really appreciate it, Steve. And, we'll be hollering at you. Whew, probably.
All right, please do.
Yep. Sooner rather than later, I think.
Thank you for having me on, and I hope your listeners have a great new year.
Awesome. Thank you, Steve. We'll talk to you later in the year, man.
You bet. Thanks, guys.
All right. Appreciate it.
Have a good one, Steve.
Bye.
All righty. That was Steve Borock, president, head of CBCS Grading. It's always fun to talk to him.
I don't think we've ever had a bad conversation with him. I always he always just seems really energetic and ready to talk to us.
Oh yeah, and it's funny because right at the it was about the 20-minute mark, and I was sitting there and I was like, man, I'm getting through everything I want to talk to him about. Like, I'm almost done. I was like, oh my God, we're not going to have enough time, or we're not going to have enough subject matter to fill out through 3 o'clock. And lo and behold, the conversation just flowed naturally and organically. And then next thing you know, I'm like, okay, it's 3 o'clock. We got to stop.
I didn't even realize it was as late as it was.
I didn't either. But,
yeah, definitely. And so if you're listening, I mean, we've still got some listeners here. Definitely feel free to check out CBCS if you got some comic books laying around that you want to get graded and get sealed. And definitely check out the Hero Initiative.
Yep.
It's going for a good cause to take care of some of the creators in the industry who have kind of sort of been screwed over by the industry.
Yeah, that's true, because you see a lot of comic book creators who really just poured their heart and soul for 20, 30 years into the industry, and the next thing you know, they're having to, raise $20,000 for a transplant or
right.
medical bills or something. And yeah, that's pretty rough that, that is the nature of the beast. But that's why the Hero Initiative exists. But yeah, they've got all kinds of deals, as you can see there on the screen, CBCScomics.com. They're on the homepage. They have that special. You can click on that, check it out. Check out that census. I was going to do that on the air, and I was like, no, we're going to give y'all a reason to go to the website. And also heroinitiative.org is that's the website for that. So it took me a second to get that right.
Yeah, because most things are calm. You have to keep remembering to throw in the org in when it's...
All right. Well, everybody have a good rest of the day. I'm Lonnie.
I'm Mark.
We're on Title Nerd Network, and this has been our live interview with CBCS President and Founder Steve Borock. Thanks for watching.